So obviously Dame says his preference is to be in Miami, has a lot of respect for the Spurs. What do you think the best landing spot is for Dame?
This is simple. This is very, very simple. And if I'm the Celtics, I'm calling the Portland Trail Blazers, and all I'm doing is playing the legend Missy Elliott because they got what they want and they got what they need. You talk about the salary space. You talk about young stars. Well, the Celtics have that, along with draft picks. And if I'm the Portland Trail Blazers, and I'm trying to find the middle ground for Damian Lillard, I'm looking at the Boston Celtics. And if I'm the Boston Celtics, I'm looking at doing everything that I possibly can to get Damian Lillard over there with Jason Tatum and now Kristaps Porzingis. It makes all the sense in the world. Wendy just talked about the teams that are knocking at the door that want to win the championship now. Well, the Celtics are that team. We're talking about a team that was in the finals just 2 seasons ago. A team that just got eliminated in the conference finals by the Miami Heat, where they were a heavy favorite of winning it. We saw them just lose the heart and soul of their team and Marcus Smart in the trade to the Memphis Grizzlies. Look, Jason Tatum is going to be coming up for a contract extension pretty soon here. And if I'm the Boston Celtics, I want to do everything in my power to make sure that, one, I try to put the organization in the best position of winning the championship. 2, I want to make sure that I keep Jason Tatum happy. I'm not saying that he's not happy, but bringing Damian Lillard over to go alongside him, to actually give him an opportunity to bring another championship to Boston would do wonders.
Okay, so you mentioned Kristaps Porzingis, you mentioned Jason Tatum, you did not mention Jaylen Brown. Are you saying that the Celtics should trade Jaylen Brown to Portland for Dame?
Well, what I'm telling you is this, Christine. If the Celtics could figure out a way to keep Jaylen Brown and bring Damian Lillard, kudos to them. But if they have to package up Jaylen Brown with something, then damn it, they got to do what they got to do. And I'm a huge fan of Jaylen Brown. Huge fan. But at the end of the day, this is business. This is business. And they got to make sure they do what's best for the organization. And if they have to package up Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard with some draft picks or whatever else they need to do, damn it, get it done.
Can you imagine a lineup that has Damian Lillard, White, Tatum, Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, and then Al Horford coming off the bench? Perk, I'm buying what you're selling here. I would love to see it. And my heart tells me the Miami Heat. It's where Damian Lillard said he wants to go. I know that he was toying around with the idea of the Brooklyn Nets, but my head tells me the Philadelphia 76ers might have the better trade package. But let's go with the heart first, because that's what we do. And we want to make Dame happy after 11 seasons in Portland, where he was the epitome of loyal. When you go to a Heat team whose offensive identity is kind of morphed to whomever they have in the lineup, it makes sense that bringing Dame in to play alongside Bam and Jimmy would be the right fit. This is a team that went 5 games with eventual champion Denver in the NBA Finals. They need to vastly upgrade what they have in the backcourt. They just lost 2 key homegrown pieces in Max Strus and Gabe Vincent in free agency. You bring Dame Lillard in there. I mean, think about how good he is, in terms of, points per possession as the primary ball handler in pick and roll situations. Over the last 5 seasons outside of the injury year in 2021-22, he's either first or second. So very clearly there's an upgrade there. And I also think he fits in with what they're doing from a culture standpoint. He said he doesn't necessarily want to go to a super team. That's never been something that has been a priority for him, but he goes to a place where that grinder mentality, which he has displayed over the course of his career, that's appreciated in a place like Miami. You have front office stability, coaching stability. You go to a place that has no state income tax. What more is there to like about a place like Miami? Unfortunately, though, I feel like the Trailblazers kind of missed their mark here, because I know what Woj was saying, that they want a star package for a star player. So if you're just looking at a 2-team trade here, it probably doesn't work because, nobody cares about pick swaps, the 2029, 2031 first rounders, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic. Like, does that really sell Portland on, yes, let's get this deal done, Miami? I mean, that's highway robbery by Pat Riley if they get that done. If you can find a third team in this trade, then maybe picks-wise, you do get the Paul George to the Clippers sort of haul where there's 5 first-rounders, or what we saw last year with Rudy Gobert going, to the Minnesota Timberwolves and all of those first, like Wendy was saying, from Utah.
All right, Wendy, I want to go to you about what Perk said.
Can I just say something real quick?
Okay,
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah, go.
For Jaylen Brown, he only has 1 year left on his contract. He has not extended yet with Boston. That is mildly interesting. Having said that, if they traded him to Portland, they'd have a problem because he's only have 1 year left on his contract.
Yeah.
So there's no trade package that they would make that wouldn't include Jaylen Brown if you're Portland. So just FYI.
Do you think, could they extend him before and then still would they be able to make that happen?
If they extend him this year to the Supermax, he was not trade eligible for a year.
Okay. So let's not talk about the Jaylen Brown part of that, but what do you think about Dame in Boston?
I don't see how you do it otherwise.
Okay. So he would
there's
need
no
to be
other
part of it.
There's no other trade. No. I mean, there's no way to structure it. The Celtics picks themselves are not valuable because they're going to be good. I think it's very interesting about Tyrese Maxey. That's a player who's a free agent in a year who you would have control over because he'd be restricted. But that's a different discussion.
Are the Warriors a threat in the West?
They're a threat. Are they the favorite? No. I think that many people will still tell you that that's Denver. The way the Lakers are currently constructed, you got to give them a lot of credit for what they did in free agency, remaining true to their plan of consistency and not going out and trying to get Fred VanVleet or Kyrie Irving. But I never considered Draymond Green playing anywhere else. I know that there was some of the speculations before Harrison Barnes, re-signs with the Kings that, hey, maybe he's looking there, maybe they're looking at him, maybe he'd be looking at the Lakers. Draymond Green, as Steve Kerr said, this team is not a championship team, not a championship contender without him. For him to get this deal and squeeze the extra year, that 4th year, which is a player option, out of the Warriors, I think it's win-win for both sides because with the new CBA that's coming in the salary cap, that $25 million, if warranted, becomes a fairly tradable contract. So you get to keep your core together, and as we know, the Warriors are prioritizing Steph, Clay, Draymond, that core, bringing in Chris Paul to what I believe would be, being the leader of that second unit. But it makes sense. He's one of the best defensive players of this generation, and the way that they have constructed this team shows you they believe their window's still now because they look at the West and they see Denver, the Lakers, the Suns, and themselves right there squarely in the mix.
Not me. I don't. Look, I'm done with the old news. I'm moving forward. I'm done with the old news. Number one, this is why the Warriors are not a threat. And when we say a threat, listen, that we're talking about them winning the championship. Every single season that they have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green is championship or nothing for them. And long as LeBron James is in the Western Conference, Steph Curry really hasn't done anything without Kevin Durant when it comes down to matching up with LeBron James. That's number one. Number two, the Suns are better. The Denver Nuggets are better than them. And hell, I'm willing to go out on a limb and say the Sacramento Kings are better than them. Although they did win a 7-game series, but going into this season, I love this Sacramento Kings team over the Golden State Warriors for the simple fact because they now have a year of experience under their belt. They know what it takes to get to the postseason. They know how it feels to be in the postseason. They are only going to get better. So when I look at the Golden State Warriors and I look at the personnel, I love the move for CP3, right? Any opportunity he get to go play with some vets, and we know he's trying to compete and win the championship. We understand all that. But who in the hell are they going to guard? When it comes down to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and CP3, who are they defending? Nobody. They're damn sure not stopping Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. So when I look at the Golden State Warriors, I said it last year and I'm standing on it now. That dynasty run, that window for championships, that has closed.
Well, Perk, I will point out that Steph Curry, who you just maligned a little bit, did win the finals and the finals MVP 12 months ago. So, but if your point is that they are not the same team that they were 12 months ago, I think that's a fair point. I think they have dropped down a little bit because Jordan Poole was an awesome part of that team, and Jordan Poole is now gone. Now, he's gone to make room chemistry-wise and salary-wise for Draymond Green, and I don't have a problem with that maneuver. They lost Dante DiVincenzo, who was a guy who had some value to them last year. They just weren't able to hold on to him. And while they did bring in Chris Paul, that fit isn't perfect for the way they play. And I do think that there are some defensive challenges there. So I think I would say, instead of being the perennial contender, like when we started last year, we said, boy, the Warriors are the favorite. I think they are just in the mix now as a team that can contend. But if you've got Steph Curry there and you've got Draymond Green and they're playing at a high level, they are very dangerous. And so I'm not going to close the door on Steph Curry or close the book. They are now living in a world where they're behind the Nuggets, absolutely. But I think they're very potent, and I'm not going to quit on Steph at all.
LeBron, no stranger to social media, was active on Insta, posting each of the players that had agreed to deals on his Instagram story after the reports. We love that from him, Wendy. If you're LeBron, are you happy with the Lakers' moves?
I think there's two ways to look at this. If you look at where they were 12 months ago, where that roster was totally top-heavy and devoid of shooting, and I couldn't believe that they were bringing back Russell Westbrook, much less starting him. They have gone a mile because they now have a nice rotation, 9 or 10 deep. They've got guys on manageable contracts. They have trade assets. They are a bona fide playoff team, in my belief. Great work at the trade deadline, and all the contracts that they signed in this last couple of days, I don't think there was a contract that is problematic in there. They may have overpaid Rui Hachimura a tad, but certainly nothing to get too excited about. They didn't get into a contract with D'Angelo Russell that I don't think that they could trade. They avoided anybody coming in on Austin Reeves and making a wild offer that they would have challenge to match and to pay him in a couple of years. I think check marks across the board. But the concept that I'm seeing out there that the Lakers just hit a grand slam here and have leapt from sort of the middle of the playoff pack to like absolutely contending for the Nuggets, I just don't agree with. I think they did fine. I think Gabe Vincent is a little bit of an upgrade on Dennis Schroeder, but it's not massive, and they're paying Gabe Vincent a ton more than they paid Schroeder. I think picking up Taurean Prince was a nice value pickup. Marginal improvement over Lonnie Walker, who they let go. That's fine. Good job. Cam Reddish is a guy that 3 teams have given up on in the last year. Maybe they'll find lightning in a bottle there. Jackson Hood-Schifino is an interesting draft pick. Rob Pelinka has drafted well. Maybe he'll turn into something good. I like what the Lakers are. I like the Lakers team that went 18-6 after the trades. I like the team that we saw in the postseason. But I am not moved like they made a massive jump forward. And if LeBron is happy, that's good, because that's what you need. To me, the big business for the Lakers this offseason is extending Anthony Davis. We'll talk about that in a month. But, B performance from Rob Pelinka, which, in my opinion, last year was a D-. So definitely a step forward.
A B? Man, come on, Wendy. Look, MVP of the free agency. MVP. Because here's the thing.
Come on, bro.
Anytime you have you come on, bro. Anytime you have LeBron James, you want to have an opportunity to compete for a title. That's number one. This team went to the Western Conference Finals last year. Yes, they fell short to the Denver Nuggets. I get all that. But what he added to this team while being able to keep the core of this group at the number that he got it at, he won. Now, here's another thing. Not only did he win in that department, not only are they still in the conversation of competing for a title in the Western Conference because the West is wide open, but they actually are building for the future. You signed Rui Hachimura, who was a young player who the Wizards gave up on and it didn't work out. All of a sudden, you bring him there under LeBron James' wing. Phil Handy gets his hands on him. We see a completely, totally different player. We saw what Gabe Vincent did last year to the Milwaukee Bucks. We saw what he did against the New York Knicks. We saw what he did against the Boston Celtics. The guy proved himself. He may not be a household name, but damn it, he get the job done. People know his name now. So all of a sudden, you go out and you steal a 3-and-D guy in Taurean Prince, who we know is going to bring the tenacity on both ends of the floor. He's a high motor guy. And now all of a sudden, you put him around greatness. And look, we're sleeping on the fact that they picked up Jared Vanderbilt option. Like, he is a huge piece. We're talking about a 6'10", high motor guy that brings the energy and is an all-in team guy, and he's young as well. Then you bring back Austin Reeves. I am him, Austin Reeves, who was getting MVP champs in the Crypto.com arena for, I wouldn't say peanuts, but if you look at some of the deals that a lot of guys were getting, we all thought that Austin Reeves was going to reach a certain number, and he actually didn't. The Lakers won in that area. But then you go and steal Jackson Hayes, one of the most athletic young bigs in the game, at $2.5 million a year. Now all of a sudden, that's another project that you could work on. So the one thing that I've seen from Darvin Ham and his coaching staff, just in Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves, is that the player development part is there. So now all of a sudden you get Jackson Hayes there, a guy that's another high motor, whose ceiling is very high in my opinion, and he is one of the most athletic bigs in the game. You get him over here with the Lakers in this organization around some adults that are in the room and know how to be a professional. Oh, Rob Pelinka is the MVP of the free agency right now.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.